Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so happy to see you all here. My name is Jen Rzasa, and I'm one of the co-founders of Altenew, and I am happy to be hosting another creative challenge with Jen. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We're so happy to have newcomers always. I don't know if you're new to Altenew in general or new just to My Lives, but what we do every week for My Live is we have a brand new creative challenge, and the whole point is to get both you and I and all of us outside of our creative comfort zone and maybe try something that we haven't tried before, a new technique to learn from one another, but most importantly, just to find some time to craft, because as a busy mother with 2 jobs, I am always looking for time for myself when I can spend on my hobby. And it is important to take that time for yourself. So I am going to be just checking in and seeing who is already in the comments. We've got Jelly behind the badge today. So welcome to Jelly as well. And thank you for getting all of the organization done behind the scenes, popping in those links and chatting with everybody, as I know you do. And we've got Kim here, Nancy, Polly is here. So is Judy, and oh my gosh, there's a lot that have already been chatting. Let me scroll through. I don't want to miss anybody. Sue is here. I maybe mentioned Nancy. Ms. Tamp is here. Judy. Others that I may have missed. Sherry. I think it's Sherry. So if I missed you, sorry. Ruby is here too. And I'm happy to see all of you there. And I'm even more happy to see you chatting it up. I'm seeing a lot about the weather. It's hot. It's hot today in Massachusetts. And I am a big fan. I am thrilled. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, the summer weather came too fast. What is this? Because, it's been cold for so long here. And I'm just really happy. I think we're in the 80s today, and it's a delight. So you may not all agree with me, but I am happy. I've been waiting for this all year. I just keep waiting. And I know throughout the winter, I'm holding on, knowing that summer will eventually come. Spring will eventually come. And we are there. Hopefully. I'm saying that, but it's going to be cold tomorrow and rainy. So we get one day of it, a little teaser, just a taste. So if you are new, make sure that you share our live. Just hit that share button and then let us know that you did share. And if you do that, you are automatically entered to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. But that's not the only way to win. The other way to win is by playing along with our challenge. So to play along, all you need to do is create a project inspired by the theme of that week's challenge. Then post it somewhere publicly using our hashtag Altenew Challenge Live. Again, make sure you're double checking that you're spelling it correctly and that you're getting the order of the words correctly. Every once in a while, I'll stumble upon a challenge entry that says hashtag live Altenew Challenge or some other combination. It needs to be hashtag Altenew Challenge Live. So no spaces in between, all one with the pound sign. Hashtag at the start, the number sign, the tic-tac-toe, whatever it is you want to call it. And then every week I'm going to feature a new project. And I also share the completed project that I made the prior week, because as I am a chatty person, I always explain as I craft, I don't often finish my project while we're live. And then I'll show you the final result. but I did not finish my project. Remember I said life gets in the way and we're all busy and we do what we can. So I did finish fussy cutting some elements. So last week we were all about fussy and fabulous, and I did fussy cut these flowers that I had stamped and then stenciled. And if you weren't here, I was using the Bold and Beautiful kit, and that has a lot of coordinating products with these same beautiful blooms in them. And if you did not finish a project, I always want to remind you, you can submit a work in progress as long as the work in progress fulfills the challenge prompt. So for Fussy and Fabulous last week, all we had to do is fussy cut. So if you did what I did, you could take a picture. If I wasn't hosting it, I just wanted to play along, I could take a picture of this and say, here's my entry, hashtag Altenew Challenge Live. This is for Fussy and Fabulous. I fussy cut some flowers and I plan to use them on a future project. Boom, entered. Okay, you don't have to finish your project. And that is something I extend to all of you because I am so bad with finishing things. I've got works in progress all over the place. It's like my creative brain. I've got like 8 things going at once, multitasking, and I don't have a lot of time either. So things sit unfinished and eventually I get back to them, mostly, most of the time. And yes, fussy cutting is fun, Jelly. I agree with you. And CMR is here, and Cece and others who have popped in. And thank you to anybody who has already shared and come in and told us that you shared. So my thought was, since I've got these beautiful fussy cut flowers and I did not create a finished card with them last week, I'm using them today. So what we have going on for today is another fun one for you. They're always fun, in my opinion. And before I announce this week's challenge, I'm going to show you the winner from last time. So let me just take a moment to share my screen. That's not correct. Oh, come on. Tell me I can't figure this out right now. You know, last week I had a weird glitch with my screen share. So today I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in early and I'm going to test it out. And I did. I went in early and I tested it out and it worked perfectly. And now I'm not seeing that same screen anymore. Eek. Okay. I don't know why that's not working. And I don't want to hit something that might make you lose me again. All right. I will announce the winner, and I don't think I can show the project. No, I know. Jelly's like, who's the winner? Who's the winner? Customize, maximize. No, that's not right. Okay, let me try one more time. And if I can't do it, I will just say the winner and you will have to find her project because it's great. Okay, screen share. I think I'm getting it. Okay. Share. Okay, I think we did it. Lovely. So drum roll, please. The winner is Carmen. Drum roll. Doo-doo-doo. Kim saying posted in the group. Hopefully you guys see it now. I know I get the comments late. There's like a little delay live. So this was the Fussy and Fabulous project from Carmen. And I just love the flowers, the butterfly. I wish I could make this bigger, but it's getting weird. Here we go. Is that bigger? Can you see that bigger? Lovely. I can't make the screen bigger, but that's a problem for another day. Yeah, I really loved all the delicate fussy cutting. And then I asked when I left my comment, I was like, or I didn't ask, I was like, oh my gosh, you're so detailed. She said she used a cuticle scissor to cut. Now that's pretty clever. Those are tiny. That gets into all those little corners. So congrats to Carmen. Make sure you reach out to us at support@altenew.com and we will get that $15 gift certificate out to you, and you can use it to spend on anything that might be on your crafty wish list, or save it up till you have something that you want to buy. We've always got new releases coming. It's always exciting around here. So I hope that you find something that you love and enjoy your gift certificate. So you might be the next winner. You, as in any of you, make sure that you play along and use the hashtag Altenew Challenge Live. All right, let's pop you down. I've got a bit of a plan and we'll see how it goes. Today's new challenge is called Pattern Clash. So the point is to take different patterns. Now, I'm not thinking in just like geometric sense. So like if you think of like a geometric pattern, maybe you're thinking of stripes or circles or a plaid. I'm saying pattern as any type of like background pattern, something that fills up a background. So you could have flowers, or you could have stripes, or you could have geometrics. You can have anything as a pattern, and typically patterns clash. And I want you to find a way to use at least two patterns in a way that looks harmonious and beautiful. So now I can pop you to my top screen. Top camera. All right, so these are my fussy and fabulous flowers. This is literally how I left my craft room last week after the live with these things all here. It's so, I'm not like ashamed because again, I know life gets in the way, and I've got a role at Altenew that unfortunately keeps me behind the computer a lot. When I'm designing products, it is all happening digitally. And I wish I had more than one time a week that I got in the craft room, but the truth is, most weeks, the challenge project is the only project I work on. So I'm hoping now that summer is coming and I won't be teaching, I'll have lots more time to play in my craft room, because we just have too many cool things that are releasing and I don't have time to use all of them. So here's my thought. Whenever you're mixing patterns, there are a few things you can keep in mind to ensure that they don't clash. The first thing is scale. So what I mean by scale is the size of the elements in your pattern. So if I'm using these flowers and I'm going to layer my cute little fussy cut elements and call this a pattern, right? So this is a pattern of flowers. I'm going to be thinking about how big these flowers up, how much visual weight do they take up on my project? And then I'm going to scale any other patterns I include to not compete with this scale. So I would call this like a medium scale. And I'm placing these right now on top of the alignment mat here because I create cards that are A2. If you're creating something that's a different size, like a tag, these might be considered large scale. If you're creating something huge, like maybe a 12 by 12 scrapbook layout, these might be considered small scale. But on my A2, I'm going to consider this medium scale. So I'm going to think about the size of any other patterns that I introduce for this project. And I would like to keep it to like maybe a smaller scale or a larger scale or both. Or you can also think about texture. So these are die cuts, and I can include texture from maybe an embossing folder that's going to include another pattern, but not compete as much because this is colorful and this would be tone on tone. This would be one color. And the other thing brings you to color. So if I wanted to introduce another pattern, I would maybe stick to this color scheme so that everything kind of goes together. Because if I start introducing other unrelated colors, that might clash. Okay, so that's a lot of information to throw out there, but as I create this project, I'll be talking more about that and just things for you to keep in mind when you're creating your pattern clash project. All right, so I did pull out two different embossing folders, and I wanted to share the thing I was talking about with scale. So if I look at the lovely Botanical Rails embossing folder, I'm going to call this also a medium scale. It's kind of matching the size if you see what each of our little focal points are. So we have these little flowers, these 4-petaled flowers, which pretty much is the size of some of the flowers here in my floral piece. And then these larger areas right here, that's kind of taking up the space as one of these visual clusters, right? So I'm looking at the same scale. And if I were to emboss this and then place my flowers to it, this might compete visually. So now I'm going to pull over the luxurious motifs. This is a smaller scale. I have much tinier elements. Things are more compact. Things are more detailed. Remember, this is just going to be texture. This isn't going to be color. And I think, I haven't done it yet, but we'll emboss this and we'll see how it goes. I think this scale is going to work a lot better with these flowers. And then I want to bring in another pattern. So let's do some embossing first. Now, since this is detailed, it's possible I might do well with a spritz of water, but I'll try to run this through first without. Water is a great thing to use, a great tool to have in your craft room. Just anytime you need to do some embossing and your cardstock cracks, Always have this little mister bottle filled with water, and it's good for watercoloring effects. If you want to use your dye ink as watercolor, a lot of times I'll just smush an ink pad onto an acrylic block and spritz it. That's a technique we've been doing for like 20 years, you guys. Long time doing that technique. So there's a lot of uses for a water bottle. And I'm going to keep this here because if for some reason I don't love the result of how this comes out in my embossing, I will just do a little quick spritz on another piece and emboss it once again. So just placing this in, and then I'm going to off screen run it through my die cut machine. I'm only going to be using, or you're only going to see part of this pattern on my final card because I am going to be placing other elements on it, like the florals and then my last pattern. But I do want to try to keep this as centered as possible just to keep the design symmetrical. Okay, so I just wanted to place that correctly there, and let me do that off screen and then we'll show you how it looks when it comes out. Okay, and Leah, I'm always sad you guys can't see me sending these things through my die cut machine, but for the embossing, I'm using my electronic machine, which is behind me. It's way too big to place here and show. And now we can see how this turned out. And I think it looks great. No need to spritz. Can we catch all those details? This is where I beg my camera to focus. Please focus. There we go. Okay, so you can see all of that texture, but since I'm not going to be coloring this at all, this is still going to read as white. So this is one way that you can have two patterns play well with one another, is by keeping one of them tone on tone. I like this texture of this pattern, this print, and I'm going to now look and see how my flowers look with it. And I think we've got a great start. Now, I'm kind of going back and forth. Do I want to use my fussy cut flowers as one of my patterns, or keep it a little more true to an actual pattern and take this leftover piece and just cut like a stripe of it? So we'll see. I'm going to keep going and we'll see where this ends up. All right. So someone came in. Susan says, did I miss it? What's this week's challenge? And Amy's saying, is that a 3D folder? Yes, it is. We have the 3D embossing folder, but since this one has a lot of details, it doesn't have as many raised and lowered areas, because as they get more detailed, if you were to have lots of close valleys and peaks in the embossing folder like this, then it would not emboss properly. So all of our designs do get tested for embossability. So if you're asking, oh, is it 2D or 3D? It is 3D. It's just a little bit flatter than some of our other designs, whereas this one is a little bit deeper etched because it is not as complicated of a design. It's a lot simpler of a design. Laura's saying she joined late, but happy to be here. We're happy to have you too. We are doing a pattern clash today. So I'm going to be mixing some different patterns together. And I do kind of love how this looks. So I think I might have this floral block be one of my patterns. And I'm saving these die cuts, maybe for a rainy day. Maybe they will get placed on top. These are what I made last week for our Fussy and Fabulous, and did not have time to place them on a card. So something's getting love today from what I did last week. I'm happy to be using that. All right, the next thing was color. So I told you in the start that color is a way to introduce another pattern without making it clash. So these flowers, we've got some pink, we have some green from the leaves, a little bit of that like tannish yellow color that we blended, purple, pink, yes, all those colors. So what I did was I grabbed some cardstock, and I'm thinking another pattern I can incorporate is stripes. But instead of having the stripes be like bright blue or neon yellow, that would clash a lot with these flowers. I'm going to keep a similar color scheme. So I have Andromeda, Ultraviolet, Rose Quartz, and Sand Dunes. So let's bring out the paper trimmer. And once we've got all of these different elements, we're going to start playing around to see how they look together. So I've got the Crafty Necessities set that is the 3x6. These were designed to use in the mini blossom because it's the same size as that plate. But I like using these just when I don't feel like hauling out big sheets of cardstock. I'm not going to use a lot. I'm just going to cut some thin little stripes so we can create a striped pattern. And this is not going to be precise stripes. I kind of want to do random size stripes, different thicknesses, and arrange them on a piece of white cardstock using some glue and see what we can create with that. So I am just randomly now, let me just get one piece off to make sure that that's nice and straight when I start. This is obviously a scrap from a previous project. And this is also not straight. Straighten that up. And let me do a thicker. And I'm keeping these all, I would say, a 1/4 inch and less, 1/4 inch and under. I don't know how many I'll need, so I'll just cut till it looks good. I don't think I'll even need this many, but oops, kind of messed up that last one, so we'll get rid of that guy. Okay, so that is the Andromeda. Now we have Ultraviolet. Joanne, thank you for sharing. And Terry said she's here but didn't say hello. Well, we are happy that you are here. Thank you for saying hi. Another scrap here. And I'm curious how many of you guys mix prints or mix patterns when you are crafting. And as a side question, do any of you mix prints when you're getting dressed? Because I know that when I was younger, everyone would say like, oh, you can't wear this with that. Oh, you can't wear stripes and flowers together. And like, I love to. I will happily put on a striped shirt with like a floral blouse, and I think that looks cool. But I think that there are fashion rules, you know, like the don't wear white after Labor Day, or like your shoes need to match your belts or a bag or something, right? There's some kind of rule like that. I think there's something with mixing prints or mixing patterns that you're not supposed to do in fashion, and those rules are garbage. I think you could apply these same ideas to them. Like if you are going to be mixing prints, think about scale of those prints. So if you had a blouse with like little Swiss dots on it, and they're tiny little dots, and then you pair it with a loud floral skirt, I think that goes. I think that'd be really nice, a cool outfit. And the other thing is, in my world, black and white is neutral. So I have a black and white striped skirt that I will literally pair with anything. Same goes for a black and white striped top that I own. That will go and match anything because I just see it as a neutral. What, right? Black and white, everything goes. Jamie says, I dance my own drum, whatever looks good on me, right or wrong. Yes, that's the way it should be. Laura says it's hard to mix prints. So Laura, I hope that you take this opportunity to try the challenge. Oh, and this is rose quartz, by the way. Remember, we're trying to get outside of our crafty comfort zone. And if mixing prints and patterns is not something you're familiar with or not something you're comfortable with, this is a great way to practice in a low stakes environment. No judgment. We're all doing something new. So just here to support one another. I really am making way more stripes than I will ever need for this, but better to have more and not need them, right? Okay, I'm going to stop here because I can't even line up this thin piece right now. And then last but not least is the sand dunes. Jamie's saying, now I'm not saying my wife always agrees. I love that. Okay, sand dunes. I'm just going to cut these up. Terry is prepping for a secret garden. Yes, that's great. Oh, do I have enough space here to trim some of these? I think so. Okay. There it is. Diana says, when mom would look at what we were wearing to school, she'd always say, as long as it doesn't fight, wear it. I'm guessing you mean the colors or the prints. As long as they don't fight. We need a real skinny one right here. And then the last few. And I think I might leave some white space in between these stripes as well. Let's see how it looks both ways. Okay, so here's just another piece of cardstock. This is A2. I have all my fun stripes here. I didn't include green just because I wanted to still keep the flowers as the focal point. So there's another tip, right? We're talking about colors. We're talking about making sure things don't fight with one another, don't compete. So I thought that if there was green here in the stripes too, our eyes aren't going to know where to look, right? It's like, okay, well, the same colors are here, here, and here. So because of that, I'm like, oh, these are going to have green. So that's going to keep the eye on the flowers as the most important part of the design. Okay, so now we've talked about scale, color, and texture. Let's start to put it all together. I'm going to just make a big striped piece right here. I'm not going to use all this. I will trim this down to what I need, but I think it'll just be easier to have all of these hanging off the edge. And right now I need to make a decision about this striped print. If it's going to include white or just these colored strips right next to each other. Because if I am going to be putting these right next to each other, I could just pop adhesive on this whole thing and then lay them down. However, if I want to have white in between, I am going to adhere them individually. I don't want two purples next to each other, two of the same purple. But yeah, I'm not following a pattern with colors or thicknesses. I do want this to look a little random. So let's imagine that. And then the florals that we have, I think I do want some white in between. I like that better. Okay. Decision made. Stamping Sue just said the opposite. The color strips next to each other. Sorry, for once I'm not going to take your advice. I always take everybody's advice, but once I separated them and I saw that white, that's my comfort zone. I talk about that all the time. I live for white space. I need it. I thrive on white space. So now this is just a matter of adhering them down. I don't think this is going to be fun to watch. So let's start chatting. All right. So I know that some of you are comfortable mixing prints. Those of you who are not comfortable with it, like I said earlier, this is a really great way to try something new. And I would recommend starting with something that you know you're comfortable with. So if you work with florals a lot, or you work with geometrics a lot, or you emboss a lot, or maybe use texture paste, something that you feel comfortable with, watercoloring, right? Start there. Then start to build upon it. So I started with these flowers that I already had made, and then I started putting other things next to it so I could just compare, oh, does this look better? Does this look better? Like the two embossing folders I showed you at the start, towards the start of the live, one scale looked better and the other one looked a little like competitive, right? It was competing with the size of my flowers. So I want to make sure that I'm not competing with the flowers. And I love too how these little pops of color from the stripes are going to bring out the colors in the flowers. And these are not go-to colors for me, especially that sand dunes. Other than the one die cut of a cupcake, I don't think I've ever used sand dunes, ever. Like The ink I have, but I don't think I've used the paper ever. Not the large size, not that small size, just this one little cupcake. And now these stripes. It is not a go-to color for me. Yeah, Imar Jama says cut some white stripes too. That definitely is another way I could have gone about this. Instead of leaving the spaces in between, I could have just cut random white cardstock strips and placed them down. And then I could have placed adhesive over the whole background and laid the stripes down. Just different ways to do it. This adds a little more texture and variety. I like this nice thick one because it takes up more space. And then we'll just trim off all that excess and then start putting this together. Now, if you're ever unsure if you're going crooked, I'm just eyeballing it right now, but you know, use the grid mat if you have one. So this is the cutting and alignment mat, but you can use that just to keep your stripes from wandering off diagonal. Yeah, if they wander off diagonal, that's okay too. Good evening. I see Gina is here. Welcome. Oh, and good night. Hello and good night. Okay, let's place these two next to one another. And now we can kind of check how this is going. So 2 separate patterns, flowers and stripes. And I think it's very interesting. And don't forget, we still have this. We have our textured, our embossed panel. Love it. Okay, let's keep on going. I think we need some light pink in here, maybe a thinner one. We'll leave some white space. Yeah, I'm looking in the comments and I see that's a great way to use scraps. It is. I've got so many scraps. We have a scrap challenge coming up. I don't remember what day it is scheduled for, but I always plan out the challenges at least a month and a half in advance. So I know coming up eventually is one where we get to use our scraps. So make sure you are saving scraps. I don't want you to say, I've thrown all my scraps away. Make sure that something is there for us to use because there will be a scrappy challenge coming up. This one's so thin. Oh, I'm going off screen a little bit here too. If you are just joining us, welcome. Don't forget to share the challenge while we're live because that's going to give you a chance to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. And that winner is announced today at the end of the live. So you will know. And there's such great things going on this month for our anniversary. And oh, I'm going a little, I thought I was going downhill. I think this stripe just isn't straight. Let's get rid of that one. That's a dud. But yeah, we've got a lot going on for the anniversary. And if you win that, you can apply it towards a class. You can apply it towards one of the new products that we've released. And then the other way to win is by playing along. So if you choose to play and make some kind of pattern clash for your project, make sure you use our hashtag Altenew Challenge Live. And then I will check it out. And somebody's going to get featured next week. I'll be back on Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. I'll place this one right up against it. And we are almost done. Just a little bit more to go to finish up this stripy pattern. It's like making your own pattern paper. And that's another thing. This shortcut is to use pattern paper. I have so many Altenew pattern papers. Unfortunately, most of them at this point have been discontinued. So I don't know which papers are still available in the Altenew store. So that's why I didn't want to put a focus on pattern paper today. But get some pattern papers out, whatever your collection happens to be, and then start placing them next to each other. That's a really fun way to use And let's make a wide white stripe. I feel like I keep making the white about the same. Let's make a wide white right there. But yeah, it's a really fun way to see which patterns and prints go together. And you'll be able to check and see the scale and which ones might color clash. And then you can cut different shapes, or you can use those in die cut machine. Really lots of different ways to use patterns and prints. And that's what this challenge is all about. Mixing and matching patterns that might otherwise not go together. Okay, coming down to the last little bit here, I kind of stopped making sure that they were horizontal. Going a little askew. That's okay. That's okay. Another super skinny one right here. And then I think I'll probably have room just for one more. And we can start our assembly. This little glue nozzle is so precise. It's so good. I get it right where I need it. And then I still end up getting glue on my fingers just because I'm a mess. Okay. Skinny ones are tougher to keep straight. And don't worry if you get glue where it doesn't belong, it will dry clear. Let's do one more pink. Okay, so I'm seeing a question, Stone Chops. Might you have a suggestion of which ink I can use on cotton fabric? Yes, so we have pigment inks. We can make sure that Jelly puts some links in the comments. I'm like losing my words here. Yeah, so if you want to do stamping on fabric, I recommend those pigment inks. And then you would want to heat set them to make them permanent on the fabric. So an iron, so you could put a cloth on top after you've stamped and they dry, put a cloth on top, and then iron with a hot iron on top of that, and that will set it. All right, here is my striped pattern. Here is my embossed pattern. The studio lights, I know it makes it hard to see, but trust me, this is embossed. I keep bringing it out to show you. There it is. It's beautiful. And this is just a texture white on white. So I'm not making it busy. I'm just adding that textured pattern. And then we have the flowers, of course. And yeah, I think I want to use, I just keep second guessing myself. Okay, let's make some decisions. I can't choose because now I'm thinking, oh, I should just fussy cut along this edge. But no, I'm just going to cut a little stripe. I'm going to save my fussy cut little cutouts for later, maybe. Trim this. Trim this. Okay, and we'll get this one to be 4 1/4. Let's go up this way a little bit. And now trim it 4 1/4 once again. Okay. And then right over here. So my first print, flowers. Okay. Texture, flowers, and stripes. So now we need to think of where and how to do this. Right? I'm like, there's so many different ways. How do I want to arrange this? I kind of like the stripes at the bottom. We could do that. My original idea was to have the flowers like this and then a little bit of stripes. Oh, I like that. Oh, I'm going back to my original plan. Forget you. You're out. Okay. So flowers, stripes, and embossing. Okay, let's cut this down to about 1.5 inches. Yeah, that should be good. Jamie says, I saved my scraps for potential future projects, and it drives the wife crazy. Yeah, my husband's not a fan of scraps. I feel bad for whoever is married or living with a creative person because creative people tend to leave messes. I know I do. Okay, so I said 1.5. That's about here. And looking at the time, I might actually finish this card. Who am I? Okay. Stripes. Which way do I want them? This way. This way was correct. Okay, so we'll adhere this on. No foam tape. I'm just going to use some of our glue tape and then squeeze some of that glue, because this is not completely flat because of that die cut that, the embossing that we did. So I do just want to add a little extra insurance of some liquid glue so we know it's not going to pop up. There we go. And here are our stripes. Here are our flowers. Okay. So this now is looking great. This is more how I pictured it in my mind. All right, let's pop these up with some foam tape, stripes, flowers, and embossed. 3 prints, patterns, whatever you want to call them. I do so love this. If I have time, I'll use this on another project. Okay, so for the foam tape, I think I'm just going to use the 1/16 inch thickness. That's pretty much like our standard. It's not the super chunky guy. The thicker one is 1/8, and it's going to add a lot of height here. So I'm just going to stick with this one. Kim's saying she likes that look. Great. Ruby, thank you. Laura, thank you. I'm glad you're liking how it's coming out, because sometimes my vision doesn't work as intended, but I think this is. It's like now just trying to decide how to arrange these. I don't know. I want it to look organic, right? Like they're just growing out, looking cute. All right, so I think I'll just put this one down flat and the others will get popped up. More dimension is better, right? And then same as before, I'm using my glue tape just to hold it down, but squeezing in some liquid glue because I know it's not on a flat surface. Okay, so that is looking good. I think I had this like that. I don't know. Okay, that would get popped up like this. I feel like every time I place them down, I twist them and then I can't remember. If I wasn't live, I think I'd get them to like a way that I'm really happy with, and then I would take a picture of it on my phone. So great that we have phones now with cameras, so you can do that easily and then just delete it off. But I would take the picture so that after I put my adhesive on, I know where everything is going. You could also use the press and seal trick, taking press and seal wrap like from the drugstore or the supermarket, placing it down on your arrangement and then flipping it over, putting all your adhesive on and then plopping it back, then taking the press and seal off. That works too. Irma says the flowers and stripes look amazing. Thank you. This is out of my comfort zone. I feel good about this white space and the white space of the stripes. I need the white space of my life. I need it. Oh, can I pop this little bud up? Yeah, the bud's gonna come up. Okay, so now we've got multi-layered stuff happening up here. I don't even know if I'm gonna trim that off. I might just let it hang over the edge. And then we'll put some more foam tape here. I'm seeing in the comments, I love the combo of bold stripes, the white texture, and the organic cut flowers. And thank you so much, first of all. And second, I feel like I keep saying like, oh, how to make it harmonious or how to make it work. But if your heart is telling you like you want some clashing patterns, I'm not stopping you. Just make them clash. That's okay. I just want to see people mixing prints, mixing patterns, mixing flowers with stripes like I am, or maybe you're going to mix it with polka dots or some kind of geometric pattern. I want to see those mixed prints, whether or not in my eyes or in your eyes it goes. They can clash. That's okay. I don't know. I keep cutting such tiny little pieces. Now I have more paper to cut off or to peel off. Okay. Peel off these little backers and talk about scraps. Look, this is great. I've got this left over. I've got this left over. You know, these are for future projects so that I'm not starting with nothing the next time I create. I've got something to go off of. This is pretty much trash, so I don't know if I can think of a way to use this. You guys are so creative. I bet someone could. That little flowers is tucked behind. Let's see which way this should go. I just keep twirling it around. You guys. Okay. I like that. Let's go with this. And then I'll trim off that little bit on the bottom. The bottom I like to trim off because, you know, when I adhere this to a folded card, I want to have a flat base for it to stand on. So I will just trim off that bottom piece. I love the debossed side from this folder too. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so elegant, right? Like, and we're also mixing some different vibes here. I feel like the stripes is classic. The flowers are fun and pretty. And then the texture is elegant. So we have some different vibes. All right, let's get a sentiment going. And for this, I am just going to take back what's on the top of my desk. And that is the Bold and Beautiful Craft Your Life project kit. Because we have some cool sentiments with dies that we can use. These. And let's grab the dies. I love having the coordinating dies to go with sentiments. So I think I don't want Sending You Sunshine because that's kind of huge. Grow with Grace is cool, but Sending Hugs I think is a greeting that I would most want on a card that I don't know who it's going to go to yet. This is a good versatile one. Sending Hugs works for a birthday, works for thinking of you, works for get well soon, works for a sympathy card. You know, a lot of different events or milestones work for Sending Hugs. So let's stick with that. And when I stamp greetings, I love a good old-fashioned acrylic block. This one happens to be dirty. Okay, get that. And I haven't used this stamp, so I do want to just condition it quickly. I have a stamp conditioning eraser. And this just gets the slick manufactured surface to take the ink better. I am using my go-to Obsidian. Did I need to condition it? Probably not. This Obsidian does work really well even on an unconditioned stamp. But since I'm not going to have the chance to double stamp because I'm not using a stamp positioner, I just want to get a really good impression the first time. Hence the extra step of stamp conditioning. And it doesn't matter how I stamp this because I'm die cutting it anyway. Oh, that's crispy. Crispy and beautiful. Perfect. No need to double stamp. This is why Obsidian pigment ink is my fave, my go-to. It's so black too. It's like so dark. It has a great contrast with the white. I love black and white. Right before I was saying that black and white's a neutral. Black and white stripes, neutral. Black and white polka dots, neutral. Black and white plaid, it's a neutral. Black and white sentiment works on every card. All right, let's place this back. I thought I was going to have time for another project, but time got the best of me once again. Although, you know what I want to do? This is totally unrelated to this live or making a card, but I want to go take a walk after this because I still see the sun shining through my window over here, and it looks like a beautiful day. It's still warm, still sunny, and I don't want to miss out on getting to go outside. All right, since this is just a small little greeting, I can bring out that mini Blossom die cut machine. So I can do my die cutting on screen. And since this is an open die, I'm not going to use my shim. That's usually how I figure out if I want to use the metal shim or not. So for dies like these with debossed lines and details and inner cut pieces, I would use a shim on my mini Blossom, okay? For these sentiments, if you look at that, they're open in the center. They're not solid metal, they're open. And I find that if it's open, I don't need to use a shim. So the shim is more so needed when I have those inner details. So let's see the one that matches up, sending hugs. Is it this? No, it is not. Is it this? Ta-da! All right, there we go. And I will just take some tape off my desk. It's just been sitting around, always waiting to get reused. Another piece right over here. And then plate A, plate B. Oh, let's trim off that little extra. My cardstock's just a little too big. Okay, plate A, plate B. Oh, Morgan says, I bought the Calla Lily Craft Your Life set at Create. Simon says Create, awesome event, and I can't wait to use it. That's great to hear. Definitely share your project with us. If it's not for this challenge, just use hashtag Altenew or hashtag Caught by Altenew. We have lots of different hashtags that you can use to bring your project to our attention, and I'll be happy to check that out. All right, these tapes going back on the side of the desk to get used again. I'm telling you, the satin masking tape is one of the best value items I think we sell at Altenew. It is such like a, I don't know, an underdog. Nobody thinks of it, but it's so essential and has so many different uses. So number one right there is that tape. Okay, let's put the die away before I lose it. Back on here. And then this, just gonna pop that up with some foam tape and then we're done. I think this card is looking really cute. Jamie says, I'm back, I fell off. Oh, I'm glad that you're okay. And we're back. If you have not shared, please do it now because I am wrapping up this project and then I'll do a little quick outro and then we'll announce the winner. So if you want a chance to be included in that $15 giveaway, please share now and then leave the comment here in the comments telling us that you shared so that we can include you. All right, put my big tape away. Another good value product is this tape, but I'm going to say still satin masking tape is not as appreciated. It's an underappreciated item that has so many uses. Love it, love it. And it lasts forever, like seriously forever. I think I have 2 in my craft room since we initially released this. This is just a sample too. This isn't even like Altenew branded because this was how long I had it is I tested it and we said we love it. And then I haven't had to replace it. Okay, sentiment, where are you going? Here, I feel like this little groove is just begging for the sentiment. All right, it's hard for me to see if I'm getting this straight just because the camera is right where I want to put my head. I'm going to do my best. Look in the viewfinder, see if that looks pretty straight. I think that's okay. Nope. This right side needs to be up a little more. Nope, down a little bit. Yep, there we go. Let's commit. Let's press it down. Okay, finish the card. All right, so let's do a little recap. We are doing patterns. We are mixing and matching patterns. This is our pattern clash, mixing and matching prints. I've got 3 on my project. Upon first glance, you may only see 2, but don't forget we have this beautiful embossed background. We talked about scale. So I have a medium scale here with my flowers. So I wanted to make sure that I had a smaller scale on my embossed panel so that it wasn't competing. The other one that I wanted to show as an example was this botanical rails. And now that the card's put together, I think you could see how this could have been distracting with the larger pattern, which is competing with the size of the flowers. So we talked about scale. We also talked about color. I used some of the same colors from my flowers in my stripes. And you'll see it's not even the same. It's not the same purple. It's not the same pink, but it's purple and pink. And it goes so it kind of ties it together without being so shocking, right? To like see totally different colors over there. It's like, oh, this makes sense. These colors are here. I didn't use green because I wanted the green leaves to make the flowers still more of a focal point. And then we put a sentiment on. So that's that. Let me pop you up and we'll do a little outro. Jamie says nailed it. Thank you so much, Jamie. I love having the extra support with the exclamation marks. Makes me feel good, especially when I don't always finish my project, to not only finish it, but then I get exclamation marks too. Thank you. And I really hope that you guys all choose to play along. If you do, please use the hashtag Altenew Challenge Live and let me know how you made your card, or let me know some details. I love getting to read about your process because I always learn from that process too. And if you have a work in progress, make sure that your work in progress fulfills the challenge prompt. And if it does, it's still counting towards being featured in our following week, and you still have a chance to win that prize. All right, I know I missed a lot of comments along the way, but thank you to Jelly for keeping everything organized behind the scenes. And I will be going back after I sign off to check out those extra comments, but not right away because I want to go take a walk in the sunshine first with my husband and my son, because it's too beautiful of a day to not get outside and take a walk. So let me just switch over so I get my outro ready, and that'll just about do it for me. I hope all of you out there have a wonderful and crafty day, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.